It's Frank DeCaro. Then live in New York. Doria Biddle is live in Los Angeles. This stripper just wandered in here. I don't know what to tell you.
Bad and clean up today, y'all.
Matt Bomer is here from the new film Magic Mike XXL or double extra. I keep saying it should be double extra large, and you could all get fat. Okay, and that was you all have to wear double extra large T-shirts and go. Brah,
you can supersize it in 3D.
I could do it, and it'll be what? How are you? You look fantastic as always.
Thank you so much. You as well.
Thank you, and things are going great guns. Before we get gushy about this one, I have to. You were so good in The Normal Heart. I don't know if I've seen you since that.
Thank you so much.
So
that was a piece I was so honored to get to be a part of. I would have done a one-line role in that film. That piece has been very close to my heart for years. I read the play as a high schooler.
I remember that whole story.
And so yeah, I just am still pinching myself that I got to have that experience.
Yeah, but just amazing. And it was just, and look, I'm someone who struggled with my weight. To be thin to begin with and then lose all the weight that you did, that's really hard.
That was harder than Magic Mike, because at least when we're starving ourselves of carbohydrates, we have each other as accountability partners to lean out on. You know, like when someone's passing out from no carbohydrates, we can, there's solidarity. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it is, and I was telling you during the break, the interview where they asked Channing Tatum, have you ever gotten lost in Matt Bomer's eyes? And he was like, everybody gets lost in Matt. But I thought that was his response was so funny, and it was just great.
Well, he's the most handsome man on the planet, so
I think he
be
thinks that of
generous with his compliments.
And then and then other people may think that. I think that about the whole cast is basically it's not an unattractive group in the Magic Mike movies. What are we in for with the new film? I just RSVP'd for a screening for Monday the 29th.
Oh, great.
Yes.
You know, what was so attractive to me about the piece, because at first I was like, are we going to rehash the first one again? Like, what's going on here? But when I met with them and I realized the story they'd put together was this great kind of bacchanalian road trip movie in the vein of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and The Last Detail, where this sort of band of outsiders are all having this journey of self-discovery and authenticity on the road. I was in, because it's a complete tonal shift from the first film, but also still, I think, tips its hat to the first film as well.
Well, and the characters were very memorable. I mean, I think it's just funny that we were it could have been Showgirls. It could have been a movie you watched because it was bad, and it turned out people watched it because it was good.
It was a risk. I mean, when they had first called me about it, it was a little tiny, I think $5 or $7 million movie, and just no budget. But I really wanted to work with Steven Soderbergh and Channing and Matthew and this great cast, and regardless of how much we had to do in the film, we all approached it as if we were playing Hamlet, because you're getting to work with Soderbergh, you want to come correct. And so it was nice to have this film to sort of flesh out all the character work we'd put into the first one.
And what was the training like, though, for this one?
Insane. And I actually learned so much from these other guys. I mean, I thought I knew how to get in shape, and they'd be like, are you eating a sweet potato right now? I'd be like, yeah. They're like, oh, don't do that on 2 p.m., after 2 p.m. on a day when you have to get, they have all these rules. I needed a flow chart, basically, to understand. Wait,
there's a sweet potato rule?
I don't know. You have to ask Joe or
and they
Kevin
don't mean a sweet potato French fries with a nice dipping sauce.
I wish that's what they meant.
They mean a roasted or boiled sweet potato.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it was pretty rigorous, but like I said, we had each other, and there is something, I know it wouldn't go over very well with HR, but there is something about, like having to get naked together in front of groups of strangers that really does bond you together as a cast.
I would think so. Because well, there's also, is there a little bit of competition to all look really good too?
No, look, for me to even try to compete with I'm the character actor in this movie. For me, I'm like a foot shorter and 100 pounds less than anybody else in this film. So for me to try to compete with them, it would take so many anabolic substances. So I think it's like a group competitive. It reminded me of being in the locker room in football, on the football team. We're razzing each other, but there is like an unspoken support, and it's competitive, but as a team, not as an individual.
well, I finally met Joe Manganiello in person, and he's a wall of people. It's especially if you're 5'8" like me, you look up, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've known Joe since we were 18. We went to college together.
Yeah, I forgot that you guys went to Carnegie Mellon. Sure,
yeah. And
the Andy Warhol alma mater. Yes, in Pittsburgh.
That's right. And so I mean, he's one of those people who, when he walks into a room, you're like, who is that? And
he's got a brother that matches.
Yes, he does. His brother might even be taller than he is.
It's hilarious.
He has just, it's been so amazing, to get to work with somebody who I've known for so long, but to watch him grow and flourish. And he's so great in this film and gets to do so many fun things. And he just really stepped up to the plate. So that was one of my favorite parts of filming this movie, was watching that.
We're talking to Matt Bomer about, of course, Magic Mike. What's XXL, double extra large? What do you say?
I just refer to it as Magic Mike, but I guess I would say XXL.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Anyway, so the new Magic Mike movie that opens very soon. Let's call it that. We were just covering Doria. I was telling him that we've been covering like every little facet of this. Every time there's a news story, I've been saying, Matt, we've been covering it. We've been every little thing.
Stalking?
Nice.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Stalking, yes. That was what we were doing.
I love you, Doria.
So,
Hi, Matt. I love you
how
too.
are you?
Great.
Good.
Great, but I'm not. Frank and I are not going to get naked as a team building exercise for the show.
I'm just saying, think about
make
it.
That clear.
Just think about it. Put it in the back of your mind.
I think Jim and I will do that.
It's going
There you
way
go.
in
Team
the back
building
of my
enterprise.
mind.
Must see TV guy Jim Colucci and you.
Yes,
I like that.
He sold his Golden Girls book, but I'll tell you about that off the air.
Great.
Yeah, I know we're happy. So it's good. But anyway, so one of the things we covered, talked about, was you sing in the movie.
Yes. Yeah, that is really all a testament to Channing and Joe and just getting to work with generous people. They were kind of trying to find ways for everybody to get to have a little moment in the film. And when we were doing the first movie, like I said, we had about 50 cents to scrape together, so we would have to entertain the extras in the strip club between scenes. And Channing would basically just walk up to you and put a microphone in your face and say, do something. And I didn't know what to do. And Joe goes, sing, man. He was like my hype man. He was like, Bomer can sing. You should sing. And so I was like, what do I sing? And Channing goes, sing something about Jodeci, which was hilarious because I only know one Jodeci song, but I did sing it.
That's one more than me and Doria put together, but it's okay.
Yes.
So I sang that, and he remembered. And when this movie was coming together, he was like, I want you to sing it. Let's do this. And I was doubly terrified because we sang everything live, and it's one thing to just have to dance and strip in front of 900 people, but to also be singing live while you're doing it was pretty daunting. But,
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So what kind of are there strip numbers that are hilarious that we're going to go out of our minds?
Oh my gosh. There are so many. Like it's just such a great, fun, eclectic group of people that they meet on the road. That's one of the things I love about it is it celebrates sexuality and takes shame and judgment off of what women want, off what men want, off what gay people want. And we're in a club with drag queens where there's a Vogue ball going on. So there's a sequence there. There's a great moment that Joe has that will change mini marts forever. That's just epic.
Everyone keeps. I can't wait for Monday now to see the movie because everyone keeps hinting about that.
That scene is. I mean, I stayed and watched. We all did. Everybody was basically behind the camera, just giggling the entire time. And then it all builds up to the big finale that we do at the end. And hopefully, the game plan is that you're invested in the characters, so you know what's at stake for them as they're doing this final performance and. You can kind of celebrate what they've found out about themselves over the course of the film.
Were you at all surprised that there was going to be a sequel to Magic Mike?
Yeah. Yeah,
I was kind of like, wow. I didn't expect it. Not that, and it wasn't because I didn't like the first one. I loved the first one, but I just didn't. You don't think about a sequel to that kind of movie.
I mean, I knew the first one had done well, and the studio was very happy with its performance, especially considering it didn't cost anything to make. And so, I'd heard grumblings here and there, and I thought, oh, yeah, whatever. And then once they called me to meet about it, and I heard that they had this great roadmap for it, I was like, okay, let's do it.
That's the audience, the American public approves.
I hope so. It was so much fun to film. It really was. And it's after Normal Heart and wrapping up White Collar after 6 years, I'd had such a serious, great, wonderful, incredible, life-changing year. But I really wanted to do something that was just fun with a group of people that I loved, and this was perfect for that.
Has being out changed anything? Is there any downside to having come out as an actor?
Gosh, that's such a hot button question, and it's hard to ask because I think it's so subjective. It is never lost on me how lucky I am to be born at the time I am and to be an actor at the time I am. I think I'm incredibly blessed, and it's given me beautiful opportunities that I may not have had otherwise. So that's the lens that I choose to look at it from. I mean, is there a cost, risk, benefit, or just a cost? Yeah. Sure, but I think you have to be willing to let your authenticity be more important than what it may cost you, and that's a trade-off that I'm willing to make.
It's interesting, though, that the 50 Shades fans desperately wanted you to play Christian Grey. And this was after you came out, and it just didn't faze them at all. They still had you in mind as Christian Grey.
Well, look, I can tell you this, especially having kids and seeing this younger generation, we're living in an incredible time, and there's so much change that's happening and so much more that's coming. So I'm very, very grateful and excited for all that it's brought to me.
Well, and no one can ever accuse you of not helping the cause along, because it's so many people, even a few years before you came out, would have said, "Oh God, I'll never come out. I'll come out when I'm washed up. I'm not coming out until I've wrung every bit of opportunity out of this life." And it's to do it at the height of your and to do it the way you did it, when you just thanked your family and at an awards moment, as opposed to a showy or calculated kind of way.
I mean, I had all the requisite magazine cover articles, and I just thought, why do we have to offers? And I thought, why do we have to sensationalize this? Why can't it be a conversation? And there are times I'm like, oh man, another political dialogue when I'm trying to promote my stripper movie. But you know what? It's good that we can have these dialogues now, so that the generation that comes after me doesn't even have to have them.
Yeah. No, I've always felt that way. I felt when people say they want to be discreet or they want to be whatever, I was like, sorry, you're wrong, born at the wrong time for that. It's like, it's like if you're born during a draft, you got to go, and it's like you're being drafted.
Yeah,
sorry, that's
highly subjective, though. And I think sometimes outsiders maybe don't look at an individual from a holistic point of view. There's so many circumstances and things they may be dealing with their family, and is their family ready for this? And so it's kind of a big picture deal. So I don't cast aspersions on, to borrow a Tennessee Williams phrase, on anybody who it's your choice.
That's my job. Good. I'm glad Matt Bomer doesn't have to do that. I feel much better. All right, so what's doing with American Horror Story?
Oh my gosh.
You're having a hell of a summer, would be my guess.
So excited. Yeah. I start pretty much right when we finish the press tour for this, so I'm very, very excited. I wish I could tell you a lot. All that I can say with confidence, it's a rich, dark tapestry that the brilliant Ryan Murphy has put together this season. I mean, it is dark, and all the storylines are very, very strong, and I'm really excited to work with Stephanie, Lady Gaga, certainly in the beginning of the season, and I get to work with not only her, who I'm a huge fan of as an artist, but also these great bucket list actors like Kathy Bates and Angela Bassett and Sarah Paulson, all these people I've wanted to work with for a long time, Dennis O'Hare, who I love.
The stock company is amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah, the Ryan Murphy players. Yeah. It's really kind of an astounding thing that he's done. But you go right into filming?
Pretty much, yeah.
And is it in Louisiana the way he usually does?
No, it's in Los Angeles.
Oh, good. You can be home. You can see your kids and things.
My kids and my husband.
So
it's great, yeah.
How long have you and your husband been together now?
We've been together a long, long time. We've been married since 2000 and... right before we started filming the first Magic Mike, so 5 years in September.
That's the best way to remember it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I don't know. When's our anniversary? When was Magic Mike the first
All
one?
I know is that I was still having to go to the gym the day of my wedding because I was terrified. We started right after.
So what's the scoop? Can you tell us any scoopage on the Montgomery Clift biopic?
Yeah,
is that happening?
That's going great. Yeah,
it's going to happen.
It's all going forward at this point. And we have Ira Sachs, who I'm a huge fan of. We're so blessed to have him on board, and they're just, in the trenches, man, really just carving out the script right now, and it should be done next month. And then we'll kind of put the schedule for filming it together then. And this incredible cast is shaping up, who I can't really talk about yet, but it's, I'm terrified. It's a huge responsibility to tell anyone's story, but someone who is such an icon and so inspirational to me, and to really try to paint him in a light that I think he would be proud of, and not just give in to all the sort of stereotypes that you hear about his story.
I think it's important too, because he was. I was sitting down with someone who was talking about. I mean, it's the pop culture history is such an important thing for me, and that people should know what came before and all that stuff. Someone was telling me that Montgomery Clift was on that list of like under 30, it's 0% recognition for what that name means. Nothing. And so the idea that you're going to introduce this important figure, this conflicted, rich, wonderful figure who's so talented and tragic and all the colors, to several other generations is a huge deal, because it's not like, oh great, another movie about someone we know everything about already.
That was a big reason that I wanted to tell it, because I do have so much love and respect for him, and there are so many people who, they might know from Here to Eternity or maybe The Heiress, but even that, you're right, under 30, it is 0% recognition. So that's a big reason why we wanted to tell his story.
Well, I think it's great. And the people you're mentioning are, Ira's such a talented filmmaker.
Wonderful.
And so it's a really, really cool thing. So between now and do you get, will you get to see, how much time can you spend with the kids?
Well, the nice thing about American Horror Story is that there are 475 people in the cast. So there are times when your storyline is front and center, and there are times when you're, just kind of kicking it along in a scene here and there. So I'm hoping that gives me some downtime to, do some school pickups and drop-offs and get to, invest in that chapter that's so important.
Yeah, because didn't you always want to be a dad? Do I remember that you were kind of?
I did. I didn't think it would happen so early and so fast, and I'm so grateful that it did. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and nice. Truly, and completely changed my life for the better. And there's just nothing like kids, especially boys. Maybe it'd be different if we had girls, but to really ground you. I mean, they could care less what I do for a living. They're so not interested. They want time. They want your love. They want your investment in them, and it does keep everything in perspective for me. And
are they still too? I assume they're still too young to go to the Magic Mike premiere or whatever.
Yeah, but they definitely totally kept my ego in check on that one too. We were driving by the billboards, and I've been trying to kind of call their attention to the other side of the road so they don't see the billboard of me shirtless with the guys. And finally, our 10-year-old saw it, and he was like, "Hey, that's you!" And I was like, "Yeah, it's me." And he turns to me and goes, "Yeah, but they're not all you." I was like, yes, cut me down to size, baby.
And that's why I'll never have children. Anyway, Matt Bomer, thank you so much for being with us. Can we follow you on Twitter and all that sort of stuff?
Yes, I'm at Matt Bomer on Twitter. Hit me up.
Okay.
Love to hear from you.
We will. Well, we'll follow you on there. And continued success. And
likewise.
Thanks for doing all you're doing and everything. And we'll just keep watching and marveling and having such a good time.
Thank you so much. I'm such a huge fan of your show. It's an honor to be here.
He listens to our show and he still came, Doria. Okay.
Happy Pride, Matt.
Happy Pride, Doria.
When we return to the Frank Show, more fun here on SiriusXM OQ.